Jono, things are a bit blurry right now.
Yeah, let's set the record straight. This is the ZFS-5.
Not the...
Don't even say it. This is from Cervelo. Hey, I'm Jono.
And I'm Ian, and we're by Gearheads, and we're here to talk about the Cervelo
ZFS-5.
Yeah.
Full suspension bike from them, their first one.
Yeah.
Pretty exciting.
All new. They had a hardtail that came out
last year. I think they were going to initially launch both at the same time, then something happened, and now it's a year later, and now we got the full suspension. So I think we're pretty excited for that.
Yeah, so we're here to talk about the official launch, but if you are familiar with the World Cup series of races, this has been out there on course already.
Yeah, I think the first race of the season, it leaked, I guess.
Yeah, I
can't really call it a leak.
Leaked.
Yeah, they put it on Pink Bike and everything, like it was out there. They wanted people to know about it, but now it's officially here.
Yep, so the first race was the Novo Mesto World Cup.
Yep.
And it was Milan Vader and Fem van Empel.
That's tough.
Sorry, I can't.
Yeah,
my American mouth can't do it. But they were out there ripping it up on this particular bike. So that was awesome. So this bike is built for World Cup race circuits. Those are the first folks that rode it.
Yep.
But it comes in a couple different options for the everyday man, or if you want to go out and ride it on just trails.
Yeah.
You can do that. It has different different travel options.
Yeah. So the main thing there is 120 travel up front, and then 115 for the trail version. World Cup is 100/100.
Cool. So the ZFS-5 was built for World Cup race courses, but it's also built for people riding out on their local trails and just want to go fast, right?
Yeah,
so what were some of the things that Cervelo had in mind? What were the pillars that they had in mind when they were designing this particular bike?
Yeah, and the main thing is it's got to be able to pedal well, very efficient, and also be able to handle the tech that you have in World Cup racing today, and just like trail riding that people do. So they had to balance the line there, and I think they did a fantastic job. It's able to descend the gnarly stuff and still be able to jump, which is great to see.
Yeah, that's awesome. And I mean, Cervelo is obviously a road heritage brand, so the handling on the bike was probably super important for them. So it reacts quickly and can turn, but then it has to do all the descending and stuff, which the road bikes didn't have to really deal with in the past. So what else about this bike is cool?
Ooh, something that's unique. So it has cable routing through the headset. Very similar, if you remember the Cervelo Solos video that we did. That model, I guess that was the introduction of that from Cervelo, was routing in front of the headset stem area. Super clean, and it's pretty easy to actually maintain as well because it's not fully internal. Still allows you to loosen everything up and get in there and grease it and clean it. So love to see that. Yeah,
it was pretty cool. When I took it out of the box, when we got it from Cervelo, and it was already routed through there, but I was kind of trying to figure out how long to cut the hose. You kind of in the past, you turn your bar all the way around, see how much slack you need. But with this, with all in the headset, there's no pull on the cable. It was kind of nuts.
Yeah, that's true.
It was pretty cool.
And super clean looking with the new SRAM brakes that are the stealth brakes. It's just a really clean looking cockpit.
Yeah, and this one behind us has transmission, and some of the options from Cervelo come with transmission, which is wireless, so you only have a couple cables, which is
two
awesome.
on this one.
Cool, all right, let's go into the Geo a little bit.
Yeah, so head tube angles for the 120, looking at 66.6 for all sizes other than extra large. The extra large is a 66.7, so a little different there.
And this is the XL behind us, right?
Correct, yep, that's what I was riding.
Cool, and then on the 100 mil travel?
That's gonna be 67.8 for all sizes.
And then the C-tube angle, what is that?
It's gonna be 74.9 for the XL that I was riding. I think it does vary between sizing. And then for the 100, you're looking at 76.
So yeah, in the mountain bike world, chainstay length is important. It changes the way the bike handles, it changes varied wheel sizes, all kinds of stuff. So a lot of people are talking about chainstays. Tell us about it on this bike.
Yeah, so some manufacturers do not change between sizes, but here we do see a change. So the extra large is a 440, and then it goes shorter, the smaller sizes. So
nice.
Rides the same for each size.
In another video we had, they talked about being engineering first, so that's just kind of one of those things that makes me think of that.
And you see with the road bikes, they kind of match the geometry for the size rider. They change it to make it be unique, which is, you see that on the mountain bike as well.
Nice, cool. Can you tell us a little bit about the suspension design on this bike?
For sure, so it is a flex day, single pivot. We see that quite a bit with cross-country bikes these days. It allows it to be a great climber, but you do lose a little bit on descending. It's not quite as supple as say a Pivot Mach 4 SL. We have the DW Link, but overall, I think if you were doing a World Cup race, it's going to be just as competitive with a Mach 4 SL or other bikes like the Specialized Epic. Very similar design. Or a Santa Cruz blower, we've talked about that. They worked very closely with Santa Cruz to design that. But one big change on this bike versus that one in the rear triangle would be the floating brake mount. So
Yeah, that was
that's
unique.
really unique. I think a few other manufacturers do it, but it's nice to see that on this bike, and it allows for the carbon to be equal on each side. Some brands, if you have the brake, it needs to be reinforced on the left side, and that makes it to be a little unbalanced, but this bike, super balanced.
So another thing I noticed about the bike behind you is it has a place for 2 water bottles, which is awesome.
Yeah, and the extra large, there's tons of room, so you know the biggest bottles.
Yeah.
But for all sizes, you can run 2 bottles, which
Yeah,
is nice.
definitely. It's always a challenge on the smaller sizes. Sometimes you have to run like a little smaller bottle in there, something like that. But it is cool that they had that in mind.
Yeah.
For racing and getting out on the trails, it's nice to have some more space for water.
For sure. And that's a nice benefit of the single pivot, is you have more room inside the triangle for 2 bottles.
Ah, that's cool. All right, well, let's move over to the build specs now. First thing I think we should talk about is the sizing on the bike. What sizes does it come in?
It's gonna come through small through extra large,
Okay, so no extra small size.
no extra smalls.
And then what colors does it come in for launch?
It's gonna come in 5 black, the one you see behind me here, so murdered out.
Yep.
And then a moss/khaki. So it's kind of like a,
Video guy, put
Yeah.
it over here somewhere.
it's a pretty looking color. So if you don't like the all black, then there's an option for you.
Yeah, and it looks nice. I saw it the other day.
Yeah, very
it was-
classy.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. All right, well, let's go through some of the options. It does come in a frame set, which is going to come at $3,900,
Yeah,
which
and
is nice.
In 2 different versions, so the 115 or 100.
Okay, cool. And sometimes brands won't do that for the initial launch. They won't do a frame set, so it's cool that Cervelo is offering that.
for sure.
I like that.
And our Gearheads are super knowledgeable on building up custom bikes. So if you don't see a build spec here that you like, reach out to one of our Gearheads and work with them on your custom build.
Yeah, they put parts on there, and it's great. It's an awesome process. Cool. Well, if you don't want to do a custom build and you want to buy something that's coming from Cervelo at launch, what do we have, Jono?
Well, let's start with the top of the line, I guess. So we got the XX SL in the World Cup, so it's gonna be 100 millimeter travel. That one's gonna be $10,700. A little pricey, but I think it's cheaper than some of the other competitors in the market, which we'd love to see.
Yeah, it definitely is. And then the model that you have behind us, that's the next step down.
So it's the XO, it's the trail version, so the 120, 115, and that one is $8,700.
$8,700. Cool. Yeah, and then the bottom spec that they have coming from Cervelo is going to be a GX Eagle. It'll be a mechanical drivetrain, and that one's going to be $5,000. And then some of the builds in between there, they have a GX Eagle Axis, and they have different travel options for the frames. So.
Good options there.
Yeah, I think it's a lot of good options. They don't have anything from Shimano, so that could be a good thing if you're a Shimano diehard and you want to build up a bike with Shimano.
Yeah.
Then you get the frame set, work with the Gearhead, and you have a Shimano bike.
Yeah, exactly.
Cool. So Cervelo was nice enough to send us a production model.
Yes.
But when we went out to Cervelo, they had a pre-production model that you got to ride on.
Yeah, that was very cool to be on a bike that was not released to the public yet, and they're like, you can't let anyone see this, or else we're gonna have to, you're gonna disappear.
Yeah, it was all murdered out. There wasn't any logos on it. It was.
Yeah, it had the
pretty
linkage was like raw aluminum was silver, I believe, which looked really cool.
Yeah, that was pretty awesome. Well, how was it when you rode it out there?
So that build was unique.
Okay.
It was kind of like a test. It was in their test fleet, so it had a Fox 36 on it actually, overforked on this bike, obviously.
Yeah.
But it still rode really well and climbed really well with that. So if you're that type of rider who wants a down country bike and want to overfork this thing, like they can do it.
Yeah,
But I would say after riding this one, the production one, like it's way better suited for a 120 travel fork.
Gotcha.
Way more balanced that way. With the Fox 36, it was just the rear did not keep up with the front. So it's nice to see that they went away from that and went with the 120 or 100 up front.
Yeah, that was one of the funnest things about going to Cervelo and some of the other bike brands you went to, like the iterations that they go through to build these bikes and like the different things that they do. They're kind of like mad scientists when they're getting these things together.
Oh, yeah. They test everything.
And it's just fun to see how it goes from the prototype to the actual production model. So that's great. But they did send us this one, and you got to build this one up and ride it on our local trails. And what did you think about that?
Yeah, so it was great. I've ridden a few cross-country bikes here recently with all the launches coming out, but this one is a rocket.
Yeah.
It's really fast, especially the climbs. That flex day, like it feels like a hardtail almost. It's that efficient. And then, when you get to the gnarly stuff, it handles that pretty well. So like if you're on a World Cup race and you're going down a rock garden, it's gonna be able to keep up, no problem.
That's awesome. Yeah, we've had some different designs from some of the cross-country bikes these days. And I think the one that we rode recently was the Mach 4 SL, which is not a flex stay. It has
Yeah.
you know, pivots and stuff that make it a little better for the descending. How do these bikes compare?
Yes, I mean they're different for sure, and it's really just the rear suspension is going to be the biggest difference. So if you're the type of person that likes flex stays, I mean obviously you're going to go for something like this. But if you want a bike that is more supple and feels a little bit better in like chunky rock terrain, like in Arizona, I think the pivot would be the way to go there.
Cool. It's cool that you have different options.
Yeah, for sure. I think we see a lot of brands going to flex stays for a good reason. It's lighter weight, really efficient, and oftentimes you can make up a ton of time on the climb, and like it's still very capable of descending, so like you don't need it to ride like a bigger trail bike so much.
That's very cool. Anything else about the bike? I know we talked about some of the angles, like the head tube angle, the seat tube angle has obviously changed the way the bike descends and steers and all that stuff as far as, and also like where you're at pedaling on the bike, it changes your pedaling efficiency. Was there anything about the reach or any of those geo numbers that you noticed on this?
Yeah, the reach is a little bit longer, I think, than some other bikes, especially in the 100 travel. It's probably gonna be a little bit longer than what you maybe used to if you're coming off an older bike. So you try to keep that in mind, but a lot of stems are getting shorter to make up for that. So you gotta really factor that in as well when you're looking at the geometry.
That's cool. Were you able to get over the rear wheel when you were descending and stuff like that?
Oh yeah, no problem with that. And I can still go to the front enough where it like wasn't lifting on steep climbs. So it's a good balance, and I thought the C-tube angle was really good for someone my height, and it's nice to see them adjust that for the extra large.
Nice. All right, cool. So it climbs well, descends well. Does the bike feel stiff? I mean, that's something with full suspension bikes, mountain bikes, you want to make sure that the bike doesn't feel noodly.
Yeah, it's definitely not a noodle. It didn't feel like it was, I was losing power from the frame flexing, which is nice to see. With bikes that are not flex stays, they may be a little more rigid, but I did not notice a big difference there riding around.
That's awesome. This was obviously shown to the world on a race course. Is this bike just for people that are racing their mountain bike, or could it be for others as well?
I think for others. I think the trail build would be a great option if you're into lighter trail riding. If you're not trying to do, bike parks or anything like that, I think it's a very capable bike, and it's nice to have a lightweight bike that you can push around all day and not be suffering. And that's what this is in the trail build.
Awesome. Cool.
All right, so that's all the specs. Last thing to do?
We got to weigh it.
Let's weigh it.
All right. But we're going to have to guess.
All right, this is the extra large. Pedals.
Extra large.
Cage.
Yep. All right. 25 pounds is my guess, Jono. What's yours again?
26.
Okay. All right. What is it?
Wow. 2511.
Trail build. Like, what do you think? Is that pretty good?
I think it's a great weight.
Yeah, I think so too. All right, Jono. Well, thanks for running us through that. It's awesome that you've got some time on the bike.
Yeah, I hope I can ride it a lot more. Cervelo, let me keep it.
All right, well, thanks for watching. And if you have any questions,
yeah, reach out to our Gearheads. And if you want to build up a custom bike, they can help you do that.
Yeah, make sure you comment down below if you have questions about this video or about this bike. Make sure you like and subscribe to our channel. We'll have more bike launches coming out, and you definitely don't want to miss them. So we'll see you out there on the trails.
See you on the trails.